Hello and welcome to Gorilla and the Geek, the podcast for sweaty nerds by sweaty nerds. My name is Kyle from Geeks Weekly, and I'm joined as always by my good pal, John the Ginger Gorilla. John, how you doing on this outside of a hex Jersey-filled Saturday?
It feels good. Feels like I could be in control of myself, which is, every morning you wake up and you're like, hey, I'm gonna touch my head. Okay, you can do that. You can control things. I'm not just, there isn't random tears falling out of my eyes. I'm not doing the same motion over and over again, creepily. So once that happens, good. Also, we never really talked about, did we really talk about that? We are from Jersey. And this show takes place in Jersey. I love it when we get some Jersey representation, and they're doing it a pretty solid. Like, they're not showing parts of Jersey. Every time Jersey gets put into media, like you get like Jersey Shore, and then it's portrayed as like a skeezy scummy. Maybe people talk about Newark because it has an international airport, skeezy scummy, and then you're like, oh, the Turnpike. Turnpike isn't beautiful. So people just people clown on Jersey, but Jersey fire.
Yeah, what I really enjoy about the Jersey portrayal is number one, there's some shrubbery and some trees around that area. You don't really
Yeah,
see
it's
that often.
definitely West Jersey. Let's just
Yeah,
we know.
but
It's called Westfield, but it's in west part of Jersey. The east part, a lot of less trees.
yeah, that's where we are, like not
No,
east, but like we're like
we're like
northern.
northeast. Yeah.
But it's just nice to not see the shore, the city-esque
hmm
environment, the airports. It's nice to know that we're not just like a portal to elsewhere in the globe. It's
Yeah.
we're our own space.
Yeah.
But and speaking of New Jersey and Westview, we're here to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of WandaVision, the show that John and I started reviewing last podcast. It's funny, John, we ended the podcast with saying, oh, maybe we won't have enough to talk about, but if that's the case, we'll find something else to do. I did not expect these two episodes to, I mean, if you're thinking about it in like the terms of like a boxing fight, they swung with two hooks back to back. I mean, overhand bombs to the face. And with episode 5, the bomb more so came in the ending. Episode 6 was kind of just like, I felt like within the first 10 minutes, I had felt the brunt of the blow. And then the rest of the episode was me like trying to recuperate on the floor, drooling on myself.
Now, here's the thing too. I predicted in my head once I knew what era this was that this episode would be one of your favorites because this is your niche. I love some good 90 content, like 90 early aughts content of like
Yes.
grunge and that type of television.
Not late aughts.
No,
I hate the late aughts.
no polos with the pop collars. He likes the grungy, like
Yes.
Malcolm in the Middle, which this was part like, and like that type of TV show. That's Kyle's lane. Like Kyle loves that content. So when the second episode came out, I was like, man, this Kyle's gonna be loving this.
And here's the thing with that. I thought all of those types of references in the 6th episode were awesome, but because of the ending, genuinely forgot all about it.
Yeah.
I was so mesmerized by what took place in that final 2 minutes that I forgot that this show even took place in an era.
Well, let's not get to that yet. Let's talk about episode 5.
Yeah, let's go with episode 5.
Let's build up just like this has been doing. Oh my god, bro! Like I keep thinking about like those first 2 episodes and how me and you were talking. We we're just like
I don't know.
oh man, it's slow. It was fun, but it's slow. And now I'm jonesing for more episodes here, man. Like I just want more. And I legit said this last night. I really hope the other shows are like this. Like, and I'm nervous that I'm not gonna get this type of feel for them because this is a special. Like the way they're doing this show is special. So I think like the Loki is gonna be very different. I have a feeling.
I don't know what to expect out of that show, to be honest with you. Same with this one though. I didn't know what to expect out of this one either.
But that's what I want. Like I kind of want like, and like, what's the next one? Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, but let me ask you something about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Would you be okay with it being the type of watch that, say,
Karate Kid.
Cobra Kai was.
Yeah, because that Karate Kid. I keep doing that. Yeah, Cobra. That's exactly what I was thinking. I want to that one. I'm trying to go into like, hey, this isn't gonna be like, oh, where's the necessarily focused on the overarching story,
It
which I
might
think
be
it's still
though.
gonna, but it's gonna be there. That's the thing. Like that, it's Marvel. I'm not afraid that none of this stuff will be there. I'm just going into it like, okay, what I want is some fun, actiony, slammy, bammy, whatever. And just from the trailer that we got, that's what it seems like it's gonna be more of.
Yeah.
They definitely like if you compare trailers like WandaVision and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier, you can tell they're very different shows. So I am excited about that. But I'm just nervous that it's not gonna give me this feel of like I want more. Like
Well, so here's the thing. I think we were wrong in the first podcast in which we talked about how, well, we weren't sure if this was supposed to be, this benefited from weekly releases. I think it has.
yeah,
It's
100%.
done the thing that Mando did, where it kind of owns a day of the week.
Yeah, at Friday mornings it's just a group. We have a group chat with me, Kyle, KG that you've probably seen on Geeks Weekly if you have checked it out, and Sean from Geeks Weekly. And we just immediately like every morning at like 7 a.m. People are like, "Did you watch yet? Did you watch yet? Did you get it yet? Did you do it?" And then like throughout the day, whoever's like late, we're just like, "Come on, what do you do? Come on, put your life to the side and watch content."
And you kind of, that's the type of show where you have to watch it right away because Twitter is going off.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you have to stay off social media because you're going to get it spoiled for you.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm glad that we still have this level of television, and I mean, it's more of a niche community probably watching this than like, let's say, a pop culture of Game of Thrones. But I'm glad that I'm part of this niche community who gets this event television. I love it, and I mean, just think about like this hype is building. Just think about what the season finale about to be like.
Yeah, because the question is ultimately, is it a season or series finale?
Yeah, true. Series finale might be,
which none of us know. I don't think any of us know that yet. Whether
and the thing is, like, I wonder. I think it's gonna be a series finale. Now we might see Wanda in another TV show. They might use her in another TV show. They might use her kids in another TV show. She might not make it out of this TV show.
Yeah, that's the thing. Who knows if she's gonna survive?
I think Vision. Yeah, low key. Wanda might die. Vision might live. How much of a flip would that be?
Wow.
What if?
Man.
What if Vision has to kill her?
That's the thing that is so great about this show, and we're gonna get into it. I guess now.
We're getting really off task here.
Well, no, it's something we had to address about the format in which the show was released. That we were, at least I was flat out wrong.
Yeah, no, we're definitely wrong. I really enjoy it. If I was able to binge this, I don't think this hype would have built like this. I mean, it turns out, I mean, I want more, right? I wish I could binge it. My girlfriend hasn't watched any yet, and she watched all the Marvel movies, and she's like, I don't know, I don't really feel like I want to watch it. And I'm like, at this point, I'm like, you need to watch it. Like, you're gonna enjoy it. You need to watch it.
The selling point to someone who hasn't watched the show is that it's unlike anything the Marvel Universe has done before, in the best way.
Mm-hmm. It's so good, and I mean, we'll get into it, but I feel like this is almost a break. Like, and shout out Jeremy Johns. He made this analogy, and I was like, "This perfect analogy." We basically got a Walter White situation here, where our main character might not be a good person, but you're still rooting for him because you know the past. You're like, come on, like you're doing bad things, but I want things to turn out right.
And I want to get into your thoughts on Wanda, the character, later on in the pod.
Yeah.
What I wanted to talk about right now, episode 5 did something at the end to really, really make everyone talk. Going into that episode, there was a lot of speculation about a cameo being made. And Elizabeth Olsen had mentioned that this is a cameo on the level of like what happened with Luke Skywalker in Mando. Spoiler warning. But the internet was talking about Magneto, all these different types of characters. And they end episode 5, which was an episode filled with Vision kind of really questioning what is going on in the show. and plus the people on the outside world really trying to hone in. So this is Wanda doing this whole thing.
Yeah, this is the first episode, right? Because I think this is the first episode we get like a 50-50 split of outside world and in.
Either this
Or
one or
was it
episode 5.
4?
Episode 5, yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
right, 5.
Because 4 was focused more on the outside.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode ends with Pietro Maximoff coming back, but it's not Aaron Taylor Johnson, it's Evan Peters. And I mean, I for one was shocked that they did it.
Yeah.
For a couple reasons. Number one, I never believed that was the Fox Universe Quicksilver. Some people did, and I don't blame them, because that would have been wild. Mm-hmm. And the show's proving it's going to wild places. But what's surprising about it is it just feels so ballsy.
I love it, and then they addressed it right away. They legit go, did she recast Pietro?
They said the word recast.
It's legit. I think that's the best thing to do. Like, and I mean, I don't want to go too deep down this rabbit hole right now, but with the whole Mando thing with whatever her name is, right?
Yeah.
But well, she's replacing Cara Dune. Cara Dune, right? If they replace Cara Dune, just do it. You're Disney. You're making great content. No one's going to care if the content is still equally as good, right? And especially with Marvel. Now, you're obviously going to get some Twitter warriors, some Cheeto finger nerds in their basement. And look, we're nerds, but we're not Cheeto finger nerds, okay? There's a difference. Just want to clarify for the audience here.
Well, we're sweaty nerds. Yeah, there's a difference in the way that we communicate our thoughts and stuff. Even if we don't like something, we're not going to like constantly flame stuff on social media. Mm-hmm. We might put out a pod and say, hey, look, this didn't work for us, but we're not like scumbags about it.
Yeah,
we're not jerks or whatever. Mm-hmm. And so, well, my question to you, John, is because we got to get into the Quicksilver stuff now.
Yeah.
What, I'm not going to say who, what do you think this thing that is Evan Peters Quicksilver is? I have a couple of options I'll throw your way and see if you vibe with any of them or if you have your own theory.
Feels like a game show. I love it.
So, do you believe that this is just who Quicksilver is now, even though we've seen Aaron Taylor Johnson in episode 6, they showed him. Mm-hmm. This is the new Quicksilver. Do you believe that this is just a manifestation of her imagination? Do you believe that this is a deal with the devil situation where she made a deal with this character Mephisto that we referenced on last week's podcast, mm-hmm. and it was kind of like a careful what you wish for, it's not all as it seems thing? Do you think that this is a plant?
I don't think it's a plant. What I just thought, and this all came together while you were giving me these things, right? I think you just manifest it in my head, and I think that's what she's doing. But there was a question thrown out, and you see it more in the end of episode 6, but everyone's like, where did she get all this power? Like, she wasn't necessarily this powerful. She was powerful, but she wasn't this powerful. It would make sense if she made the deal with the devil, right? And she was just like, maybe she met him, he sweet talked, he's the devil, could sweet talk, and he was like, why are you so sad? Ooh. Why are you so sad? And she was all like, my vision's dead, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, what if I could give you everything back? I'm the devil. But he didn't say I'm devil, Just sweet talked her. And she was like, yes, what can you do? Yes. And then he, boom, did it. And that's why she doesn't necessarily remember how she got all this happened. And she
multiple times now she said she doesn't know how this started.
Yes. And if he's the devil, I mean, I feel like he's more powerful than what she was. He was able to give her more power, right? And I mean, he has to love this where someone's mind controlling a bunch of people. I mean, it's not a good thing.
Can I give you something?
Yeah.
And then let you continue. So John Campea said this, and I didn't catch this at all. Episode 6. What's the commercial for? Do you remember?
No.
So it involved a shark.
Oh yeah. Oh, and it's just the person not being able to eat the thing or whatever, and he dies.
Do you remember what the thing was called?
No.
Yo Magic.
Oh, snap.
So John Campea said, well, what if the show literally just told us what's happening? I'm
Mm-hmm.
feeding on yo magic.
Mm.
What if someone is pumping up Wanda's powers
Wow.
so that he can eat them and she dies at the end of the show? That's his theory, but continue, please.
That's crazy. Then we got a new big bad for the future Marvel universe. But like she's so strong at this point, I wouldn't be shocked if she's making these people come back to life. And um
Wait, whoa. Do you mean everyone in Westview's dead?
not that.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say that's
I mean,
dark.
like she's able to bring like Vision. Now Vision's alive. Now, obviously, if he goes out of her thing, things are a little sketch. But um, Evan Peters, he mentions like the last thing I remember was, and I think this is at episode 6, but just since we're talking about his
Yes.
character,
Yeah.
he goes like I got shot in the street, and then next
I
thing
heard you calling my name.
yeah, I heard you call my name, so I'm here. So I wouldn't be shocked if he died and she just brought him back because she wanted it. Like, that's how strong she's getting. And which is so crazy to think about. But it makes sense if he's eating her powers that he's like bumping them up. She's on roids right now. And he's just like, nom, nom, nom.
Oh, by the way, I would just like to throw this out there. My mistake. He or she,
True.
which we're gonna get to in a little bit.
Also, huge shout out Evan Peters. I've not seen this guy in a role where I've been like, hey, do better. I mean, I think I nerded about this in the last podcast. I'm a huge Evan Peters fan. One of my favorite actors, and I don't think he gets enough clout at how like the wide range of roles and characters he could play, and you don't look at it and be like, that's just Evan Peters. You're like, wow, that's a whole different character, and I love it. Shout out him.
So here's where I'm at with that Quicksilver. I definitely don't believe that this is a Fox Quicksilver. Still, are you in the same boat as me with that? That this is not Fox's?
I don't necessarily think that. I mean that it is. I think they just liked him as the character. They're like, he pulled it off
and
well.
It's a fun nod.
Let's just do it. I mean, you're coming onto this show, so dope.
Here's where I'm at. I think that this is one of two things. I think he's either a plant of some sort, or he's the manifestation thing of like deal with the devil, whatever. Here's what makes me wonder if he's a plant.
Are we 100% saying that he's not what's Manifesto? What's his name? No, what's the devil's
He's
name?
not Pietro's Maximoff or Pietro Maximoff?
No, the devil's name. With the devil.
Oh, he's not Mephisto?
Because now listen,
tough,
reason I'm thinking about it is because in episode 6, when you get more of him, all he's doing is bad deeds with the two kids
and being very charming.
Yeah, so. he's being almost devilish, right?
That's where I was after episode 5.
If you're gonna feed off of her and you're going to be someone in Westview, it's easier to hide right under someone's nose. If it's someone she's craving to have back so much, she's not going to necessarily be like, "Hey, who are you? Why are you here? You're not my brother." She might want it so bad that she doesn't notice that it's not the same.
So, just for some context, after episode 5, the WandaVision watching boys were talking, and that's kind of the theory that John and I were going with, where we thought Mephisto, due to the fact that Vision and Wanda were about to come to blows and Vision was going to really untangle everything, that he decided to show himself, but as Pietro, in order to settle things down. Because every time that Wanda starts to lose control of things, something happens to bring her back. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's him or if it's someone controlled by him. The thing that makes me wonder if he's a plant, though, he's asking a lot of questions. A lot of what's going on here? How'd you do this?
Yeah.
You can tell me. It makes me wonder, like,
Mm-hmm.
is he someone from the town who just actually didn't get affected by this whole thing?
Mm.
Is he John Campea said asked if he might have been a sword agent that was like deep undercover. Although I don't really know about that.
Yeah.
It's just it makes you think, because why is he kind of knowing so much but also wanting to know so much? Like, I never thought about the kids up until he mentioned it.
Yeah.
And so I think that, number one, I think episode 7 we're getting a lot of answers.
Yeah. I think episode 7 answers. Episode 8 build up to like the final, like, oh god, this is a bad person. We'll find out who probably in episode 8 the
I
bad
think
person
something
is.
bad happens in episode 8.
And then episode 9 will be the resolution and
Yeah,
the come down.
I agree. So
Shout out storytelling.
So we'll find out what happens with his character. I'm very curious as to where they go with it. The next, well, I have something I want to say though about Vision.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the old Vision.
No,
This is the fact that he doesn't remember anything pre Westview.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if she took the parts of Vision and just gave it a new consciousness.
Yeah.
But
Also,
like
we
said,
saw
more
that.
Vision.
I forgot in episode 5.
Yeah.
We see her go in and take the body, which was supposed to be a post-credit scene. They ended up probably using for this show. That's very interesting.
And it makes you wonder,
even
though,
with that, it's still not her. I don't think. Like, I don't think she remembers going in and like. Could you see Wanda doing that necessarily?
yes, for one reason. What if Sword was doing experiments on Vision's body to do something that he didn't want them to do with his remains, which is become a weapon?
True.
If that's the case, she is well within her right to take his body.
Yeah.
Well within her right.
Mm-hmm. That's very protecting his wishes more than taking away from his wishes.
Yes. Now we have 2 ways that I want to save Wanda for last.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you which one you want to talk about next. Do you want to talk about Agnes?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to talk about the implications of what's happening at the end of episode 6 with the Hex?
Let's talk about Agnes first.
Okay.
Talk about Agnes, because like, so, and the reason I think this is so important, because it's something we also need to go back on, because I think we're possibly wrong, but also who knows? They might just be double crossing us and mentally. With us thinking that Agnes is what's the witch's name?
Agatha Harkness, I think.
Yeah, Agatha Harkness. And she's like a witch. I low-key still think she might be, right?
Me too.
I mean, it's acting, right? I doubt the witch can't act, especially if she's knows the devil. I mean, it's one of those things.
By the way, John,
mm-hmm.
Here's why I said he or she earlier.
Oh, what if she is?
What if she is?
Yeah.
Mephisto?
Because
what if she's just an amalgamation of all of them?
That's true. That's a good point. In is it episode 5 or episode 4 where the twins are crying in the bed and she's like breaks character and she's like, "You want me to hold him?" Like,
I think it's early episode 5. Early episode 5.
Yeah. So she's like, "Do you want me to hold him? You want me to what's it called?" And then magic is happening in front of her and during that episode, and she just she's sitting on the counter, whatever. Like, so which means like she might know, but she was probably not trying to ruin the scene by making a big deal of it.
Oh, and one last thing. She is, as of episode 6, the only person aside from Rambo. She's the only person who has specifically said it's Wanda. Everyone else has only used the pronouns she and her.
Ooh, so point the blame, especially for Vision, point the blame at someone else. And what if she is the devil, right? Let's say that's what this is. And maybe she is technically feeding off of Wanda's powers, but she still can't defeat Wanda. But there is a person who can, and it's Vision. So what if she's now getting to that point where she's like, okay, we need to start wrapping this up, start putting Vision onto her trail, and put in his head that he needs to be the one to stop her. Oh, yikes.
That's
yikes.
And here's why I don't think she's innocent and she's not a regular townsperson. Couple of things. Number one, she didn't have an ID within the sword facility.
Yeah.
Which they were just kind of like, all right, whatever. I guess this is this is an unidentified person. Okay, I guess we'll just figure this out later. I love it when government people are like secret agents are like idiots. It's like,
yeah.
That's why we need superheroes. But number two, at the end of her dialogue with Vision, she doesn't just say like, "You're oh my gosh, you're dead. What do we do?" She starts laughing. What was that about?
Yeah.
Like hysterically laughing, and that's why Vision tapped her back into the.
And it's not just laughing; it's almost like cackling like a witch. Like it's almost like a foreshadow of like, here's a hint. If you pick
here you
it
go,
up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember thinking that in that moment of like, here's the witch. Here, this is what it is. Yeah, man. Okay, so one other thing that I think we need to, I mean, yeah, I don't know. She's confusing. I think it's still up in the air. Like I can see it going either way at this point, but I'm
leaning with you.
Pretty sure
she's a bad guy.
Yeah, I just can't imagine one person who's been in every episode, right? Like
every single one,
yeah.
And weirdly in all of them.
Once again, a bigger name actress. Like I don't know. You don't just get people and put them in these roles just to be characters. Shout out Kat Denning coming back and getting her payday. How dare you not use her properly? And now she's back.
And now she might be someone, but we'll get into that in a second.
So also in episode 5, we see Wanda leave her hex. So that was a big moment. So let's get into I think we're done with Agatha. Let's get into this Wanda talk. It's her show, and we're just living in it. Literally.
A lot of stuff has happened in the 2 episodes. Number one.
Yeah.
I believe last podcast we mentioned Rambo saying it's Wanda. It's all Wanda, right?
Yeah.
We theorized, maybe not. Something might be on the trail. All throughout episode 5, we get little tidbits. It's her. It's her. It's her. Specifically her. Just saying the word her. Still not buying it. Still not buying it. The sword facility sends in a drone.
Yeah.
And Wanda sees it, gets that look in her eyes, leaves the facility, is in full regular Wanda outfit. And
literally the outfit she wore when we watched her last Endgame. Like she's just still in it. Probably smells of battle.
Accent.
Oh yeah, she just goes full back. And this, okay, keep going. Sorry, keep going. I'm getting ahead of myself.
And she tells them, "Stay out of my home, or else." And then she turns everyone's guns on the general.
Yeah.
And then leaves.
So,
I'm sorry. And then she puts a red force field around the hex.
So now no one.
So let's stop there.
They really just can't get it.
Let's stop right there.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
That whole scene makes me think that she was brainwashed in some sense, right? It points to brainwashing. Why is her accent back like that? Right? Why is she this evil almost, right? Just like she was brainwashed when she was in Sokovia, right? She basically was brainwashed to be evil by who's controlling Hydra, was it?
Well, Ultron. Really.
Okay, yeah. So Ultron, like, she was brainwashed to be like, hey, these people are the bad people. So it's in there. Someone just has to tap into that and play it back up again in her head, right? Just put that rerun on of, hey, these are the bad people. So maybe we'll put her in that mood again of like, boom. Shield, which is now Sword, bad. and I'm just protecting what I want, right? And I don't know how I got in this situation. I don't care. I love it. This is what I want. I'm happy. Don't mess with it. You mess with it, you mess with me. Mess with me, where you're my enemy now, right? So I just think it's a brainwash, man. I still think like, and yes, she's controlling it. It's her force field. She's doing this, right? But I just don't think. I think there's more at play at the end of episode 5. I think there's more at play,
There
right?
has to be.
Yeah,
Has to be.
right.
But what makes it more interesting is episode 6.
Yes.
So throughout episode 6, we get Vision leaving to number one. We're seeing the split between the two,
Yeah, he's lying to Wanda.
and we see Vision seeing that number one, Wanda's powers are being stretched thin, and not everyone is being utilized in the show.
Yeah, so if you're on like the outskirts of her where she is, you're just basically standing still or just doing the same motion over and over again and
Which
torture. Like,
literally just gives me chills thinking about it.
yeah.
It's awful.
I mean, that's another thing about this show. The
Cinematography.
thank you. It's stupendous. Like, there's the shots and the way that like you get these people that just almost look like animatronics. Like it's, and then you get the tear. Oh God, it's so good. So
It's
good.
truly dark stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
even so, let's say Agnes is a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that because she went too far outside of Wanda's field of power, which I still don't buy, that's what happened to her. It's like these people are glitching, right? She glitches out and she gets lost, and she's just kind of standing still at a stop sign.
Mm-hmm.
That's not what happened. She knew Vision was going to be there and did that on purpose. Tell me, I'm going to die on this hill.
This is our new theory, new podcast theory. We were wrong about the last one. Don't worry. This is the one that's going to hit.
Yes, for sure.
If you want to buy into a theory, this is it.
This is the theory. Yeah, the title of the podcast, the theory for WandaVision.
Just instead of having our normal thumbnail, we go super YouTube clickbaity and just put the theory for WandaVision.
Yeah, and it's our faces like just full tilts and stuff, big highlighting messages, even like a green money sign and like a mind blown emoji. But that's it. Seeing that the people in that state does force you to question, number one, is this Wanda? But number two, would Wanda really be willing to do this to people?
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing that I couldn't help but wonder. Would she be willing to torture human beings like this? Especially being someone from a tortured past.
Now, here's the thing, right? When her and Vision ran away, in what movie was that?
I want to say Civil War.
It was
at the end of it.
It was kind of a selfish thing. So it's in her. Like that's still in her. So it's not, but I don't think it's in her to get to this point alone, right? I still think there's someone that knew that was in her and is manipulating her to feel like this is what I have to do. I don't think she just did it on herself, right? I think that it was there and it's just like it got pushed, right? Yeah, it's like if someone was willing to steal like a candy bar and someone was like, hey, how about being able to get all the candy bars, and talks them into robbing a bank, something like that, right? It's like it. Dude, I saw you steal
like that candy bar. Go take $1 million. You know, like...
yeah. So I think it's someone ramping up what she already is feeling or what she already can do.
I think I'd probably agree with you,
because like and maybe it's just me wanting to be hopeful and not wanting to see a hero be bad. Like,
yeah. So
it might just be a biasy type. Like, I don't want that to happen like that. Don't do that to my feelings.
I want to ask you this before next podcast, because we might push the next podcast back 1 week in order to do everything all at once.
Mm-hmm.
Does Wanda need to die to redeem herself for all this at the end of the show?
I mean, it depends. 100% depends. Because if someone comes out being like, I was controlling her, or even if Wanda figures out and says, hey, this person's controlling me, if someone figures out or Vision finds out that that person's controlling Wanda, right? Then it's like, okay, well, you can't blame Wanda necessarily. Yeah, it's her powers, but you can't blame her. Then it goes into the whole thing where, like, okay, do people out of, like, how well does Sword have this under wraps that this is happening? Um, oh, well, can we get to the end of episode 6?
Well, yeah, because that kind of so
Because
here's
that
what
plays
happens at the end of
into it.
episode
Because,
6.
like, that's the thing. Like, can Sword hide this anymore? Like,
Are we getting to a point? Got tall. So at the end of
and
episode
will it
6,
happen again? Because low key, that's one of our
I think it
theories
will.
too, right?
So at the end of episode 6, Vision leaves the hex. In doing so, he starts eroding
It's kind of crazy.
pieces. It's one of the darkest images
It's
I've seen
another
from a Marvel
jarring
movie.
thing, right?
Or
If the whole him getting the divot pulled out of his head was jarring, this is also very jarring.
I would argue this is worse to watch, because it's one thing to watch
True.
someone
You
die
got a point.
immediately,
Yeah.
but to see someone being tortured to death is like
Uh-huh.
really awful. So Vision leaves the hex and his body starts eroding backwards into the hex. Wanda's child sees this, tells Wanda about it. Number one, Wanda blasts Quicksilver away into a pile of Halloween stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, she freezes the entire town, aside from her kids, I think, and expands the hex in order to get Vision back inside.
Mm-hmm.
In doing so, she brings Kat Dennings' character into the hex, who was handcuffed to a car. Every single Sword agent besides the boss and 2 others. And now outside is the FBI agent, whose name I can't remember for some reason, and Rambo.
Wait, they are out, Rambo and
They are not inside the hex.
okay. I thought they may have been also.
I believe they're not.
But
Now
also
go ahead.
that scene, great scene of everything being swallowed up and changing,
Incredible.
like the Sword agents turning into clowns and it's becoming a carnival.
It's so, oh my gosh, it's so dark.
The car dealership going to a used car dealership. It's just like such a great. They did a really good job for that.
So a couple questions that arrive from that. Number one being, well, now we know Wanda's much more in control of this than we thought. How in control of this is she? And is this all her? Also, when did she get this strong?
Yeah,
Because this is like
now
some.
it's pretty. It's getting up there.
I mean, this is like some Wanda could literally defend the Earth by herself type stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which is cool, but also creates this character who's like, who knows if they want to have a character that's strong going forward. Maybe she is going to die at the end of the series. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to see her go. I like Wanda. I also love Elizabeth Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, what does this mean for the kids. There's so many things. What are your thoughts on Wanda after the end of episode 6?
I mean, just almost once again flabbergasted, not sure of what's happening. Like episode 6, once again. I mean, episode 5 ended in a jaw dropper. Episode 6 ends in a jaw dropper. It's just
A bigger
like,
one, I would argue.
yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Well, one, is Vision okay? Because just because she got him back in doesn't mean he's not all right. Also, he now, like, there's no way that he trusts her.
No
And
way.
you know he's going to be mad that she expanded this thing to save him. Like, there's a lot going on. I'm very excited to see what's happening to Kat Dennings in here.
I'm wondering.
AKA Darcy. And it's just, there's a lot of implications going on now. Because she's getting, I mean, from the outside world, she's now more evil, right? The more this thing expands, the more evil she becomes. And we'll save the theories for another moment because like I want to know what you have to think about it. But it's not going well. Like she's kind of losing control of like I need to save this. I want to keep this. And her powers are growing, but it's also hurting more people.
Yeah, so the longer this goes and the more she tries to keep things under wraps and under control, the harder it is going to be for her to be redeemed as a character going forward.
Mm-hmm.
It, I'm not I'm not saying she has to die at the end of the show because that'd be really brash of me to do so, but I can see them going down that route because it's kind of it's harder, it's easier to kill off a character to end a redemption arc than it is to have them work their way back because I mean
Yeah.
self-sacrifice is like the biggest thing, right? But there's other ways for her to self-sacrifice. 3 ways. And that would be giving up Vision and both her kids and her brother. And we don't know if any of them are physical manifestations because when you come into the hex, things physically change.
Yeah, and
Like,
they say that Monica Rambeau, her cells, they change. They tell us in episode 6 that that she can't, like, don't go back in, like it could kill you now, like, but things have changed in your body or whatever.
and her clothing gets changed,
Mm-hmm.
but like the physical makeup of it's still the same. So like she's wearing a
Yeah.
Kevlar vest, all her clothes are now Kevlar. But the question is, can Wanda create matter?
Mm.
Are these kids real?
Mm.
Is her brother real? Is Vision real?
Well, here's the thing. I mean, she did poof things into existence, like with the dog collar. We see her kind of poof, and there's something. So,
But I mean, outside the hex, can those things
oh,
exist?
true. Um, I don't know, but it also goes then into like what we might be thinking might happen. Um, and with the Hex taking over the world at some point, I think.
So here's what I think is going to happen. I think the hex is going to, at minimum, bleed into New York, because I believe, and this is like an overarching theory that people have about where this show is going in terms of for the MCU going forward. People think that this show is going to be used as a jumping off point to introduce mutants into the MCU.
Yeah.
I believe Charles Xavier's school is in New York.
Mm.
Not New York City, but New York State.
Mm-hmm.
We're in New Jersey, not that far off.
Yeah.
Wolverine lives in Canada. James Howlett, who becomes Wolverine, is a Canadian. Sean and John both said yesterday they think that the hex is going to engulf the entire planet. If it does, that changes everything.
Yeah. But and then it makes so much sense from a like okay, from a storytelling standpoint, and having like we know that they're going to be bringing this entity into the universe. It plays into their favor that this could be a possible thing that changes it, and that she happens to create superheroes in one of the comics. Like it works out well for them to be like, hey, this is it. So that theory is I mean, that's one that I would hang my hat on. Like this gonna happen. Just watch. Um, and also it's a fun way, and like once again, it seemingly or seamlessly like gets this new these people who technically should have probably been in this world already to now enter this world without anyone being like, what, you just all of a sudden they weren't prevalent, now they're here. Like it makes sense now why all of a sudden they pop up.
And I would argue the best part about this is that calling them mutants because of this makes sense. It's a genetic mutation due to the hex, right?
Mm-hmm.
uh
That would be too many people. I was gonna say, what if the only people who could go into being mutants are people who were snapped out of existence? But that would mean the world is 50% mutant, and that doesn't make sense.
No, I think I think it's supposed to be under 20%. Although it
Mutant
might be more
or
than 20 actually. I'm not sure. But one thing we saw already in Civil War, I think it was,
mhm.
is that there's people out there who are like, we know that these people have something about them that might make them into a soup of some sort.
Hmm.
Not super powered, but like a presence in this universe, right?
Yeah.
What if the hex unlocks that thing in them and gives
Mhm.
them access to whatever that genetic thing is and makes them and mutates them and makes them a mutant?
Makes sense.
The one thing I don't want them to do, and this just came to my head, and I don't think they'll do it, but part of me is like, it'd be cringe. So just putting it out there so that they don't call them the Hex Men.
Oh, that would be gross.
If we're doing X-Men, X. That's it. Just
Yeah.
X.
What if they do it as a joke? Like, Hexmen. Oh, we create by Hexmen. What about just X? Like,
Yeah, yeah. Okay. If it's a meme,
mhm.
sure. I'm all for it. You know I love a good meme, John. But
I
what?
just got
What
another
happened?
idea, right? How to work Quicksilver back into like an X-Men school, like Xavier's school.
Hmm.
Wanda does die. Now Pietro doesn't really know his life. What if this is Pietro that Wanda created?
And he
He
stays
doesn't
around.
and he stays around after it, right? He doesn't really know he's lost, so what a better place to go than to this mutant school?
Well, here's what I would do in that scenario. So Magneto is the opposing force to the X-Men, right?
Hmm.
He basically becomes a father figure to a lot of these mutants in what's called the Brotherhood. Could his first recruit be Pietro, a guy who's lost?
Mm, true.
Um, but anyways, that is just a possibility in terms of like this creating the X-Men, and I think it's a legitimate one. We've said it a couple times here. I just think that there's so many lanes for this all to go.
It's so exciting. It's like that's the biggest thing about this show. Like, and we mentioned it at when we first did the first podcast. Is this is our first content for after Endgame, really? Like first substantial content
Wasn't
after.
supposed to be, but it
No,
is.
and I'm so happy it is because it's just like there's so much they could do with this universe. Maybe too much, but so much they can do. Like there's so many stories to tell, so many lanes to go down. And the best thing that there is there's so much source material, right? Shout out comics and them being so prevalent. And maybe it's better that comic book movies didn't um launch in popularity sooner on, right? Because maybe we wouldn't have had so much source material to pull from and like choose the better storylines. Because like they got so much they could do, and they're just like, hey, we could tell this story, we could tell that story. This is a fun story. This is a great story. All they have to do is try to connect the pieces like a puzzle, right? And it makes me so excited that like we're like, well, they could do this, or they could do that, or we could do this, or we could do that, and then we just get to find out, right? Because once again, and I said it at during the last one, you can't you can't doubt them anymore. Marvel's hitting everything.
Yeah.
They're hitting everything. So I'm just no matter what they choose, I know I'm gonna be like, it's probably gonna be amazing. I'm sold that no matter what they choose, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah, same here. I'm like you. I'm glad this wound up being the first thing we see post Endgame because I mean it was supposed to be Black Widow. I think was the first thing we were going to see prior
Yeah.
to Falcon
Mm-hmm.
and Winter Soldier. Two back-to-back more actiony things. To me, while it probably would have been really fun, I while I wasn't experiencing superhero movie fatigue, I did, and I've said this on the podcast before. I did feel as though we hit a peak,
Mm-hmm.
and the issue with peaking is while it's really awesome in that moment, it does leave me personally wondering, well,
Where
what do we
now?
do
What
now?
now? Yeah. So I think the break. I mean, although it wasn't an intentional break, it probably played in their favor. Of like, okay, well, man, I really miss Marvel Universe. Like, I want more.
And
Um.
here's this thing that makes you want more after
Mm-hmm.
every single chapter.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
And I mean, I gotta be honest, I was never really excited for the Black Widow movie. Still not. I don't like I don't care about like, okay, look, this character who was here and then is already like
that's the difficult thing.
done. Like, I don't want, like, don't give me their origin story now. Like, don't give me this past story necessarily now.
Can I
Like,
tell
and
you what
it might
makes
be a
me
good
a little
movie.
excited for it?
Go ahead.
The possibility that Florence Pugh's character, her little sister, might be a player going forward, and this is actually her introduction to the universe.
I mean, which would 100% make sense. There's every movie they've put out, there's been someone who they're like, okay, and we're introducing someone new here.
That's the only thing I can think of.
So that makes sense. And it probably, in some sense, will have ramifications towards the rest of the universe going on. I mean, I feel like
but
it always does.
You have a very valid point in that the issue with going backwards is that stakes are kind of done. That's the issue with prequels in general. I mean, the Han Solo movie, I never watched it because it's kind of like, well, I know he makes it out. And Lando.
Rogue One, we knew what was gonna happen. Like,
one of my least favorite Star Wars movies, and it's not even a badly made film.
Yeah, it's just like, okay, I know that they're gonna make it. Okay, cool. This is how they do it. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, no, I agree. But yeah, I mean, really excited for the show. Before we get out of here, John, any real quick, I not theorize. I'm pretty sure next episode is going to be a mockumentary style show, which is going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
Any theories as to what happens within just next episode? Because you can't predict 2 episodes down the line because no one can predict anything with the show. Any final predictions before we go?
No, I'm the only thing I could definitively say is like Wanda and Vision are gonna butt heads, like really badly, because he already didn't trust her. That's why he left the Hex. And now that he's brought back, and he probably saw the fear in those people, he's gonna be like, and he knows he died. Like, he knows that he was dead now. Like, he was told. So everything about him, he's questioning. Anything he knows, he's going to question. And there's only one person he could question. Wanda Maximoff. So it's not going to go well. And she's already she's kind of crumbling here. Right? Things are falling apart for her and her perfect world. So now the reason that she has this perfect world is questioning her. I don't think it's going to go well. And maybe it's going to make her more of a big bad.
So here's my prediction. The person interviewing them in the show is Kat Dennings.
That's a good one. That's a perfect play into it, too.
Number 2, I think Wanda and Vision, their divorcing is going to be the main plot point of the episode. Not saying that they're going to get divorced, but like their infighting is the main point of the episode. Episode ends with whatever is supposed to be the big bad of the season being revealed.
Interesting.
Either Wanda coming out and saying, "Yeah, I did all this," or it's Agnes being figured out.
I like that. I like that a lot.
And then in episode 8, I think we see that Rambo has superpowers. Those are my predictions for the next couple episodes.
I like it. Those are very, and once again, best thing about this, I'm so excited. Like,
we still have 3 weeks worth of like anticipation to go. It's so fun.
The thing is, like, I have to distract myself from thinking about it, because if I keep thinking about it, all I'm gonna do is want it. Like, I'm gonna be like, damn, it's only Saturday at this point, and I have to wait until Friday.
I'm gonna be really sad when this is over.
Yeah, but we only have like a week or two until we get more Marvel content. So
true.
At least we got that for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, with that said, I mean, great prediction. Another great podcast. I mean, it's really making it easy for us at this point.
Well, so to be honest, I think the reason why we've been so into these podcasts is because I don't want to speak for you, but like the superhero movie genre, which is it's now its own genre basically.
Yeah.
Is probably my favorite. And while it might not be your favorite, it's something that you're really into.
Yeah.
And it helps when these podcasts are based on something that we're like super
Passionate
invested
about.
in, you know?
That's true. No, it
it's nice to
definitely
have
is. I
this.
mean, I've done a lot of comic book reading, probably more comic book reading than you have done.
Yeah,
So
I would say, especially in our adult years. Like as a kid,
Yeah.
I had like a pretty big stash, but as an adult, for sure, you have.
So it plays into that too. Of just I'm excited to see these stories that I've read a little bit and dabbled in come to life. And it makes it exciting. So I can't wait, man. It's so good. I'm so happy they're killing it, and in a new space. Once again, it's television, not movies. So shout out them for just absolutely
And yo,
stealing everything. Because guess what? I'm not thinking about Green Arrow and the DC property TV shows.
although I am very excited for Superman and Lois, but here's something that we have to recognize: Marvel alone and Star Wars as well. They're making Disney Plus worth it 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Wow.
The fact that this is going so viral of like a oh my god, I can't wait for next week type of situation is just like, okay, I need Disney Plus. I need to watch this.
It's event television, which is something that people have been trying to figure out for like the past half decade.
And it's exciting to see that in a new, like not on a television necessarily.
Yeah,
like,
in the new medium.
Yeah. So, because is this like the first? I mean, yeah, this is like the first thing, right?
First
really,
what?
Like event television type.
You could argue, Mandalorian did.
That's true.
But even with Mando, I feel I don't know if I want to say that. I was gonna say maybe the MCU's kind of surpassed pop culturally standing right now. Star Wars.
I think so.
I think
more
right now.
I think more
in history.
Teenagers. Yeah, no, at the moment in time that we're in, more teenagers and like pop culture people that need to like the content for it to be pop culture. I think there'd be more that like Marvel properties and superhero properties than a Star Wars property.
And that's only because the last couple of Star Wars attempts haven't been stellar.
Yeah, I agree.
But with that, very excited for next podcast. We'll probably see you guys in 3 weeks instead of 2.
So that's one thing we're going to delay just so we could get the 3 episodes, and it'll be like the 3 episodes, and it might be a longer podcast because we might have to do like 3 episodes and like a whole season type idea. Yeah. So it's one more episode, and then we're also going to be talking about the whole entire season, what is going to mean for going on. So it might be it might bring some towels because it might be a sweat fest.
Wait. Little pits in right there.
Black on purpose. Smart.
Little pits in action.
Get a little sweaty. Pro moves here.
But John, if people want to get sweaty about this stuff with you online, where can people find you?
As always, be sure to check out my streams, twitch.tv/gingergirlgaming. They are a little impeded right now because I'm having thumb issues, so it makes gaming a little harder. But Twitter, gingergirl_, gingergirl, just search that. gingergirlgaming on Instagram. If you're not watching this on YouTube, you could see mine and Kyle's beautiful face at gingergirlgaming on YouTube. So check those out and be sure to reach out to us and let us know what you think. If you have any questions, if you want to hear us talk about anything, like we always say, we're here for the conversation, not just with each other, but we'll take conversation wherever we can get it because I think that's one of our favorite things to do is talk. And Kyle, where can they find you? Obviously, where can the people, not just sweaty nerds about comic book stuff, sweaty nerds about movie and just content in general, where can they see you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Buff Charmander. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/geeksweekly. Sean just released by the time this podcast is out, I will have just released a video likely on Judas and the Black Messiah, which I'm going to watch immediately after John and I hang up this Zoom call. Sean just released a video on why you should read Invincible, and it's pretty solid because it's made me want to watch a show that much more.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just released a video as of this podcast releasing 2 weeks ago on a movie called Malcolm and Marie. So if you want to check any of that stuff out, make sure to do so on Geeks Weekly. And yeah, that's about it. Once again, thank you anyone out there who listens to us. We really appreciate it, and or watches us on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Again, feel free to tweet at us or message us any sort of questions or theories.
Yeah.
If you do, we'll read them out next podcast.
Yeah, and guys, be sure to if you know any other sweaty nerds in your life, share the podcast, let people know that we're here and that we like to talk about content. But until next time, peace out, everybody.
Laters.